Okay, hello grade 6, hope you're all safe and sound. Today we're going to take, or let's say we're going to discuss a new form of persuasion, which is speeches. Okay, it's a new form of persuasion. Um, okay, speech, or let's have a closer look about what is meant by a speech. Okay, a speech is a piece of writing that is meant to be read out loud to a group of people to persuade them to do something or to believe in something. And let's say that speech is a more personal and effective way of communication and persuasion. And a very good example, we can say that when the head of the department in your school deliver a speech in the saluting time to persuade, for example, to persuade you or to persuade the rest of the students to keep their classes and desks clean, to know the importance of like studying and caring. Or another good example is what is happening nowadays because of what is called COVID-19. Like presidents, responsible figures, and health ministers deliver a speech every 2 days or even, let's say, every week to convince the listeners to keep sitting at home, warning them how this virus is dangerous and fast growing. This is actually a general idea about speech. Okay. As for now, we are going to analyze together a well-known speech to the most famous activist and public speaker, Martin Luther King, entitled "I Have a Dream." Let's know more about Martin Luther. As you can see in the picture, he is it's very clear that he's an African American citizen or African American with black color skin. And he, as we said, he is an activist, or he was an activist or civil rights activist. This means that he was working to maintain or to secure equality amongst people. This means that he spent all his life trying to support the idea of equality, the idea of justice, that all the people are born the same, even if they are black in color when it comes to their skin, or white, so they have to be treated equal. This is the main point why he was famous. Okay, so let's discuss here some information about Martin Luther King. Martin Luther was born on January 15, 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia. Martin played a pivotal role in ending the legal segregation of African American citizens in the South and other areas of the nation. Here, segregation actually means that when I say that he played a very important role in ending the legal segregation of African American citizens, this means that he tried to end the practice of treating African Americans, as we can call them, or black people, less fairly than the white people. He tried and he did his utmost effort to end the practice of treating African American in a bad way, or the black people in a bad way. Another point when it comes to Martin Luther is he received the Nobel Prize in 1964 among several other honors because of his mighty acts. Actually, mighty acts here means that he did a great effort. He was really concerned with all what he was thinking about is that people must be equal. Let's say other information about Martin Luther, that he was the youngest man or the youngest person to be awarded the Nobel Prize in 1964 because of his great accomplishments in calling for equality, as the black people, at that time are treated badly in comparison to the white people. And this was very clear in the job opportunities given to the white people and not to the black ones. It was actually clear in everything. Anything or any concern with the citizens, it's very clear that there is or there was a segregation or differentiation in treatments between the white people and the black ones. Okay. Let's know more about information about what is coming around this speech. Okay. Here, the audience, let's talk about specifically the audience of this speech. This speech was delivered to an estimated group of 250,000 people. Martin Luther was broadcasted, or Martin Luther's King speech was broadcasted on national television and radio companies. His words were actually aimed towards all the Americans and continued to be passed down from generation to generation. So he was talking to all the Americans. Let's see the purpose of delivering this speech. The purpose of I Have a Dream speech was to encourage hope and equality in a nation of inequality. Actually, he was trying to create some hope for people to feel that someday we will, or he was talking about the black people, someday the black people will receive the same treatment as the white people. So that's why here we said that encourage hope and equality. Actually, the speech revolves around freedom. So he is focusing on freedom and equality. Martin wanted to ensure freedom amongst all people, black men and white men, Protestants and Catholics. Okay, here is the speech itself. It's entitled, as we said before, I Have a Dream. Let's know some information about when it was this great and impressive speech was delivered, in what circumstances. So here you go. This impressive and important, iconic speech was delivered at Lincoln Memorial for the 1963 March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. So Lincoln, let's say, or let's talk more about Lincoln. Who's Lincoln? So Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president of the United States who really stood firm to hold the nation together. He also brought slavery to an end. So he was one of the greatest leaders or presidents in the United States, and he did a great effort when it comes to slavery and equality. It was the same as what Martin Luther King is trying to do throughout his life, or was trying to do throughout his life. Martin Luther King urged America to make real the promises of democracy. King really tried in his speech to capture both the necessity for change and the potential for hope in American society. So the aim of this is to give the people some hope and to call for equality. He's calling and persuading people that black people needs to be equal, and at the same time he's giving them hope that this will happen one day. Here starts the, or let's say we took an extract from his long speech, the most effective part. Here it starts with, I'm happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. I say to you today, my friends, so even though we face the difficulties for today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream that is deeply rooted in the American dream. So what he meant by the American dream here, as you can see on the screen, he meant freedom and equality. This was meant by American dream. So this paragraph, or this part of his speech, actually shows that he faces a lot of difficulty, and he was still facing, but he still have a dream. He still feel that um, it's going to be fulfilled, that this dream is going to be fulfilled one day. The second part, or the next part, is, I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the truth meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. So he started this part in his speech by, I have a dream. And he's saying that the nation will rise up and live out the truth of meaning of its creed, of its belief, or its law, that all people or all men are created equal. All men are created equal. So we need for all men to be treated also equal. The next part starts also with, I have a dream, which we call here anaphora. So what's an anaphora? An anaphora is the repetition of the first phrase in each sentence to stress a certain idea. So here I have a dream, I have a dream. So this is the repetition, or the anaphora, as we can call. Okay, he says here, I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. Again, it's another idea, or another reason that he needs, that the sons of the former slaves and the son of the former slaves owners, both of them can treat each other, sit together, that everything is easy and they are not treated badly. I have a dream, the repetition of I have a dream in blue color, that one day even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. Here, what's highlighted with red, it says a state sweltering with the heat of injustice. So sweltering here meant to be boiling or burning with. So here it's a metaphor. He tried to create an image that the state of Mississippi is sweltering with the heat of injustice, is burning, and is full of injustice and full of oppression. Oppression here means unfair treatment to people. Unfair treatment to people will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. So he was dreaming that the state that was burning and filled with injustice and filled with unfair treatment to be like an ocean or an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. Repetition, or the anaphora, I have a dream, we have here. And also this paragraph shows that Martin Luther King and his children really experienced a very harsh experience um, uh, about their color, about the inequality of treatment because of their color. And they are not treated, or they are not judged by how they think or about their ideas, how great their ideas are. No, they are judged by the color of their skin, which is black. I have a dream that one day down in Alabama, with its vicious racist, with its, let's say, cruel racist, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with the little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. So what he's saying here is that he knows that in Alabama, it's very harsh. They are treating people bad, black people badly. And its governor, its president, or the person who's responsible there, his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. It's an image in which he said that the person who's responsible for this part of, or this country, Alabama, his lips dripping and getting out drops of interposition and nullification. These two words meant to be that it's the governor or the responsible there is actually powerful and has influence, and ignoring laws and beliefs that do not agree with the same ideas he believes in. So he's taking from the law and from the belief something in which it comes with his mind, or in which he believes in, and he's ignoring the other parts of the laws and the beliefs, parts in which he does not like or does not believe in. So he's not, there's no justice here. He's not treating people equal. That's why it's an image here, describing the lips of the governor there by like things or the words or the powerful actions and injustice by like drips or drops of water coming out from his mouth, which means that he was filled with those bad ideas, which is powerful, being powerful and influence without any equality. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, that all flesh shall see it together. So again, repeating, I have a dream, the Anaphora, throughout his speech. In this part, actually, he is using exaggeration, because he is saying that he's hoping for every valley, every low part to be exalted. Exalted means to be lifted up, taken up. And every hill and mountain shall be made low, and the rough places be made plain, and the crooked places be made straight. So of course, he's depending here in sending the idea on nature, and he's saying that he's hoping that things in nature to be changed, to be all of them equal. Of course, this is not logical, and this means that he's using exaggeration to again to send his message to the people who are listening. Okay, the last part here we have. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. So here, he is, as we can see here, so he's saying, with this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. Hew out here means that cutting out or getting out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. He described that what they are in now is a mountain of despair, and he has the faith, he has the dream to get out a stone of hope, to cut out a stone of hope from this mountain of despair. Again, an image. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. Again, he's repeating, with this faith, another anaphora, with this faith, with this faith, with this faith. Again, repetition of the first phrases in a number of sentences. Here he's saying that he has the faith, he has the dream that one day he could transform the very annoying and confusing sounds when it comes to jangling discords. It here meant by jangling discords is the confusing and the unpleasant sound of our nation into a beautiful symphony. Another image here. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. So as you can see here, he used a lot of things in his speech, anaphora, images, mixed of images, powerful vocabulary, again, to persuade the listeners, as we can say, because it's a speech meant to be read out loud, that Black people still do not have their complete equality, and to give the Black people also the hope of that one day they will reach their aim, they will fulfill their dream. Great. Let's go to see or analyze the tone of the speaker, who's called Martin Luther King. Actually, if you go through what we have read, you're going to find that Martin Luther King's tone is very powerful throughout the speech. He's very confident and states his desire with much authority, experience, and emotion. This tone contributes to the style of this persuasive speech. Actually, he was expressing his idea with a great freedom. He wasn't afraid of anything. He has, like what we have read here, the tone of being confident and in expressing himself. He states, I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. As I told you before, while we are analyzing, that this shows that he and his children experienced a lot of serious situations that are related to the skin color. Okay. After reading the speech of Martin Luther, I have a dream. Let's get out or pick out some of the persuasive speeches language features. Okay, the first thing we said, the use of anaphora, which is the repetition of the first phrases at the beginning of a number of sentences, like I have a dream here, and like we have, I think, yes, it's here, where with this faith again. So I have a dream and with this faith. The use of emotive language and powerful vocabulary, like sweltering, again, it could be like the same as images, sweltering with the heat of injustice, and interposition and nullification, jangling discords, so emotive language, or let's say powerful vocabulary. And the use also of exaggeration when he discovered, or when he described the nature, that he wanted nature to change and to be all equal, for the mountain and the hills and the valley to be like the same. It was an exaggeration. Supporting point of view with the logical reasons. Again, it's very important for the speaker of a speech to use reasonable points to convince his reader with his point of view. And the use of first pronoun I and we to involve the reader in. Okay. After reading the speech, these are like some of the questions about the speech. Number 1, what did Martin Luther King, when did Martin Luther King deliver his speech? 2, what is the purpose of delivering this speech? Number 3, mention 2 examples the speaker used to support his point of view. Take care that they have to be 2 examples. From the 6th paragraph, extract an imagery the speaker has used to show injustice and mention its type. Take care again, those are 2 in 1, 2 questions in 1, that you have to extract the imagery and to mention its type, 2 questions. From paragraph number 9, extract an exaggeration. Extract an anaphora from the last paragraph and mention its effect. We said that anaphora, which is the repetition of certain words at the beginning of the sentences, are used to stress and focus on a certain idea. So tell me here, the anaphora that you're going to extract from the last paragraph are to stress or to emphasize on what? On the idea of what? Thank you so much for watching this video. This video, you're going to find the hard copy or the PDF file uploaded on Facebook for you to print it and to answer the questions and to check your questions from the model answer that's going to be attached to it. Thank you so much for listening.